Let's start with a truth many of us learned the hard way. We build boundaries around our pain because, somewhere along the line, we learned, if I don't protect this, it'll be taken again. If I'm not crystal clear, I'll get consumed. If I say no, I'll disappear. Sound familiar? The problem is, that boundary doesn't always land the way we intend. What you meant as clarity, they felt as rejection, and what was meant to protect yourself gets perceived as pushing them away. And now, here, it comes. The pattern, the tension, the dance. You set the boundary, they feel the blow. You feel misunderstood, they feel abandoned, and suddenly you're both dysregulated because you're carrying unspoken memory. You say, "This doesn't feel good to me." They hear, "You're too much." They say, "But I still need you." You hear, "You're not allowed to rest." What was meant as communication becomes conflict. So here's the question. Are you actually setting a boundary? Or are you projecting a trigger and calling it self-care or communication? Oof. I know that one stings. But hear me out. When the boundary is made from fear, it repels. When it's made from clarity, it communicates. There's a difference between, "I need space so I can stay connected to you," and "get away before you hurt me." But if you've ever said, "I'm just protecting my peace," while secretly avoiding vulnerability or accountability, you're someone who learned that openness came with consequences, that being honest didn't always feel safe, that being seen sometimes meant being hurt. That's a survival response wrapped in the language of self-care. That's not weakness. That's a fragment of you asking to be felt. And the moment you see that clearly, without shame, is the moment you begin to shift it. Let's get real. Are you the boundary maker or the boundary pusher? Because let's be honest, most of us are both. When you're the boundary maker, ask, am I setting a limit or putting up a wall? Am I protecting my truth or pushing them away before they can get close? When you're the boundary pusher, ask, am I actually being rejected? Or is this just unfamiliar territory? Am I feeling abandoned or just unused to someone choosing themselves? From a quantum perspective, boundaries are field signals. A clear boundary sends out a coherent frequency. Here's where I end and you begin, and I want to stay connected. A reactive boundary sends out static. I'm unsafe. Back off. Or, if you leave, I'll collapse. Don't come closer than I'm ready for. The universe isn't responding to your words. It's responding to the energy beneath them. So, if you don't know where your boundary is coming from, you'll keep attracting people who challenge it. Not to punish you, but to reflect you. And honestly, that might be the most powerful form of love there is. So, how do we know where our boundary is really coming from? This is where the mirror practice comes in. Mindful insight. What emotion am I holding while I set this boundary? Is this from truth, fear, or fatigue? Reflective recognition. When did I learn that choosing myself equals hurting someone else? Who taught me that closeness means self-abandonment? Observational reframing. What if this discomfort isn't about them, but about a younger me who couldn't say no safely? Resonance. What would clarity without defensiveness sound like? Realignment. How can I stay in my truth without closing my heart? How can I honor the field between us as a living space of trust? You are not wrong for needing space. You are not weak for wanting closeness. But when your nervous system speaks louder than your heart, Confusion fills the field. So here's your real work. Pause, not just to say yes or no, but to ask why you're saying it. Because boundaries, they're sacred when they're clear. And connection, it's sustainable when it's honest. This is the mirror. Reflect, recode, realign.